report that to you. The many people who wished my death on the internet. The world of the left is an especially mean world. It's a question that I've dealt with all of my life. Are mean people attracted to the left, or does the left make otherwise decent people mean? I think the answer is both, but there is no question that there is a cruelty in the human condition on the left that is not to be found nearly as much on the right. There's no doubt about it. Everybody listening knows that to be true. And why that is a very tough question. Why do people choose to be despicable? Don't know exactly. I have theories. In any event, I have registered as negative. The therapeutics that I took were magnificent. I believed in them for the last year and a half as prophylactics and then as therapeutics. I agree with Harvey Risch. I believe he's at, where's he, at Yale? The epidemiologist. I don't know if we'll have him on today, but I do want him on again. And there are many who do believe that vast numbers of Americans died needlessly because the medical establishment has been corrupted by the left, just as everything else in society has. And people died because they were not given therapeutics. They're still saying at the New York Times the gigantic lie that the purpose of ivermectin is as a horse dewormer, as if people are taking it and doctors are prescribing it to people not knowing that it is also a multi-purpose drug. Many drugs are used on animals. To describe it as a horse dewormer is a New York Times lie. New York Times lie is a big lie. It's a big lie. It's equal to the Washington Post lie. They all lie. And I called them out on it, and it drives them crazy. It drives them crazy that I don't live in fear. One of the animating impulses of people on the left is they're scared. That's why they have safe spaces on campuses. They're scared of dissent. They're scared of male-female differences. They're just scared of life, not to mention scared of death. Very difficult to deal with people who live in fear. Fear is a huge motivator, and courage is a huge antidote to fear. Indeed, I'll tell you what else is. Reason. Reason is an antidote to fear. And so, for all those wishing me a quick demise, bad news for you, I'm fine. There's no guarantee that you will be fine in life. There is no such thing. I don't walk around thinking I'm guaranteed. I don't believe that God will necessarily protect me more than the next guy. I don't know if I am more worthy than the next guy. But I do believe in reason, and I do believe far more in science than the scientists do. Scientists believe in the CDC, and I believe in science. So there you go, and that is the, so let's see, interesting how, all right, people, that's fascinating. All right, 1-8-PRAGER-776. I spoke to you for the last few days about COVID and about the, about vaccine. There is a fetish on the vaccine issue. The fact that people who have had COVID are not considered to have antibodies, and that they too have to get vaccinated, that should be proof to you that the issue of the vaccine is a fetish. That's all it is. It's an irrational fetish. why people who have natural immunity have to get a vaccine and should be fired from their place of work. Anyway, people shouldn't be fired from their jobs to begin with. This is a first in American history. When you go back to 1905 and the famous case of the man who was fined $5, he wasn't fired from his job. He wasn't rendered incapable. The guy wouldn't take a smallpox vaccine. He wasn't rendered incapable of work. He was fined $5, which I guess, I don't know what that would be today. Would it be $500? Is it? I mean, it would be a serious sum of money, but it didn't render him incapable of feeding his family. The hatred of Americans who won't take a vaccine, the hatred that has been fostered by this despicable president. I've never described the president as despicable. He's a despicable man. He is the most disuniting president. He makes Trump look like Mr. Unity. Yeah. The dividing of America. His inaugural address was despicable. Systemic racism in America. Never has there been an anti-American inaugural address. Only by this despicable man named Joe Biden, this crook who enriched his family while he was in the Senate. Man who sat in his basement the entire time running for president. Well, it's a very bad time in this country. However, it would be a lot better if people had the courage to fight the left. Bari Weiss, I'd like to read to you from her piece. Bari Weiss was a reporter, a major reporter for the New York Times when she quit that lying newspaper, to her great credit. We got here because of cowardice. We get out with courage, by Bari Weiss, from her own website. Persuasion, the purpose of argument, is replaced with public shaming. Moral complexity is replaced with moral certainty. Facts are replaced with feelings. Ideas are replaced with identity. Forgiveness is replaced with punishment. Debate is replaced with deplatforming. Diversity is replaced with homogeneity of thought. Inclusion with exclusion. In this ideology, speech is violence. But violence, when carried out by the right people in pursuit of a just cause, is not violence at all. In this ideology, bullying is wrong unless you are bullying the right people, in which case it's very, very good. In this ideology, education is not about teaching people how to think. It's about re-educating them in what to think. In this ideology, the need to feel safe trumps the need to speak truthfully. In this ideology, if you do not tweet the right tweet or share the right slogan, your whole life can be ruined. Just ask Tiffany Riley, a Vermont school principal who was fired because she said she supports Black lives, but not the organization Black Lives Matter. In this ideology, intentions don't matter. That is why Emmanuel Cafferty, a Hispanic utility worker at San Diego Gas and Electric, was fired for making what someone said he thought was a white supremacist hand gesture, when in fact he was cracking his knuckles out of his car window. I didn't know about that story. Did you? Man fired from his job because somebody thought he was making a white supremacist hand gesture? A Hispanic utility worker? Yeah, I'll tell you, if there's any group known for its white supremacists, it's Hispanics. Well, if Larry Elder could be the black face of white supremacy, then Emmanuel Cafferty could be the Hispanic face of white supremacy. And you know who believe these lies? The best educated.